everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about two melachot, two jobs that are forbidden on Shabbat. And the first one is kindling a fire. And in this melacha, of course, we're not allowed to light fire. And this is from the Torah. And the Torah says directly that we should not light fire on Shabbat. But lighting fire is the simple thing, just like lighting a candle or making a bonfire, that we're not allowed to do from Friday night all the way to Saturday night. There's exact time that you can check in different websites. It tells exactly when Shabbat enters and when it goes out. And the fire itself is, as I said, it's a bonfire or a candle and so on, but it's also to understand that it's either to make a spark or to even prolong an existing fire. All of that is forbidden. So in this category, we have the actual fire, but also when we turn on a switch of electricity, there's a spark. We don't see it. And it's not about if it's hard or easy to make that fire. It's about, are we making it or not? And by turning on a switch, we actually make the spark of electricity, and with that we actually light fire. So it's that easy to break Shabbat, unfortunately. So what we do, we have to decide before Shabbat enters, which are the lights that we want to keep in our home that we really need. So usually you leave one light in the bathroom, and you just leave it there for the whole Shabbat. Now if you're afraid that you'll forget, just put a tape on it. Put a tape. There's kids, sometimes the kids can also, by mistake turn it off. You put a tape and you tell people, don't touch it. I'm keeping Shabbat, I'm doing my best, right? And maybe in your living room or where your dining room is, the kitchen where you want to, cut salad for Shabbat or whatever you want to prepare there and so on. So you're going to have special places in your home that you know that the whole Shabbat, means from Friday night to Saturday night, that light is going to be on. And other places that's going to be dark and you're just not going to light it on. Now again, in the beginning, put tape. Whether you put tape where you do light your light, or even put tape where you don't want to put tape, by mistake because of your habit, turn it on by mistake, okay? And think about places that you don't really, think about. Like the refrigerator. When you open the refrigerator, there's light there. If you're going to open and close, you're going to turn the light. So it's really important to put a tape or loose the lamp inside the refrigerator so that you don't turn it on or off during Shabbat. Now the hardest part, our cars. Every time we turn on the car, there's a spark. And if it's gasoline, you burn the fuel, right? You burn it. It's also fire. And even if it's electric, you still have the spark, just like our switch. So we're not allowed to drive on Shabbat. And even though what I'm saying, Shabbat is very important, but if it's something for saving life, then it's different. So we're not allowed to drive on Shabbat. But let's say someone, God forbid, needs to go to the hospital and it's an emergency, then yes, we're going to drive with the car. But again, it's only for emergency. What we are commanded from Hashem, from God, is not to do it. Not to drive, not to turn on the light, not to turn on fire. And in the secret, it has to do also with the fire in hell. That on Shabbat, that this fire is off and we should not light it so that we kind of turn it on again in our world. It's kind of like a day of, it's a day of rest, right? Shabbat is a day of rest, and we want to rest from that fire. The other job is mechabeh, to, extinguishing, to turn off the fire. So just like we're not allowed to turn it on, we're not allowed to turn it off. And with that, it means when there is, just like the switch I talked about, you cannot turn it off. Just like you cannot turn it on, you cannot turn it off. Just like you cannot open the switch in your car, you cannot close it on Shabbat. You cannot turn anything that is electric on Shabbat. No phones, no radios, no, TVs, nothing, because all of those machines, computers, they all have a spark. You cannot turn it on and you cannot turn it off. And fire itself, you cannot light it, you cannot put it off. But if it's an emergency, again, if there's a fire and you want to save life, then it's a different story. Any emergency that involves life of people, life is the highest, thing in Judaism. And in order to save life, when you don't have other choice, you can break Shabbat. But again, I'm highlighting that it's only when it's a matter of life and death, matter of emergency. If you have any questions, please write down in the comments and we will do our best to answer. All the best.